Hey guys, thanks for watching Precision Rifle Network. I'm Joel. So we are on the road driving, obviously. We are headed to Kansas City today. We, as in you and me. I thought, I've got a meeting over there, and I thought, let's just go over and surprise visit Manners Stocks and GA Precision and maybe a little something else. So I'm going to take you along with me today. Let's go to Kansas City and see if we can't find some shenanigans over there. Alright guys, here we are outside of GA Precision. This is the building right here. Doesn't look like much. There's absolutely no signage on the outside. We're going to go see if we can find Ken Lin or somebody fun to talk to and see what GA Precision is all about. Let's go. Alright guys, so here I am with George Gardner of GA Precision, and I just stopped in here today. Obviously I'm over here for a meeting, and I just popped in, and I thought I'd hit them up, and it's Monday, and I thought they would shoo me out of this place in an awful hurry. But here I've got George with me, and he's going to give us a little bit on the 6 GT. So, George, I think it's really popular. It's coming around, like people are starting to really take notice. There's brass available now. There's all kinds of stuff. So tell us a little bit about the differences and why you did it and all that.
Sure. So that's the number one question I get is why did we decide to make another cartridge? Do we have enough 6mm? And I would tend to agree with all those people. We probably do have enough of them, but the popularity of these BR cartridges has become somewhat huge in that, you get really low SDs without really trying. They're easy to load for. If you don't like Fireform and Dasher, you can shoot BR and, have a little bit less velocity and still get the accuracy and all those attributes. So I get it. I mean, it's a cool caliber. And it's super accurate. Obviously, it's got a bench rest following as well. The 6 Creedmoor, which a lot of PRS shooters use, is a great cartridge as well. It's a little bit more finicky for low development, although I would still argue that it's easy. It's just not as easy. The powder used in this is 4350 Reloader 16, kind of a medium burning powder. It doesn't work really well with Varget, which is what everyone uses in the bench rest calibers, or 4895, a lot faster burning powder. Then the other question I always get, well, why not just do a 6x47 Lapua, which is this bad boy? Smaller, obviously, than the Creedmoor to the shoulder, less powder. It's closer to being able to use Varget, but it's kind of stuck in no man's land where it doesn't quite work perfectly with Varget, and it's too small a capacity to work good with 4350 and the medium burning powder, so it becomes what's called finicky. Guys have a lot of problems doing low development with it, and it gets the rap as being finicky. So if you look at the GT, it sits kind of right between the two. This having a 30-degree shoulder, this having a 40. This cuts it right in the middle to 35. The base to shoulder is right in between the two. And this little bad boy allows you to still use a small charge, relatively small charge of Varget, a couple grains more than this, and still get those small SDs and the hyper accuracy and the huge, gigantic, large node. Most guys that shoot this for their first time are like, God, every load shoots in it. Well, that's what they say about this and why people like it. So why not just stick with this? Well, it's slow. It doesn't work well at the longer matches, and the biggest problem is this. And everyone that shoots one knows. As it's coming out of this magazine, right here is where it starts to nose up and go into the chamber. The chamber is about right here. It's not in it yet. It's still hanging before it. And so as it pops out, you can pop up, you can pop down, and it's sitting there, and you always see guys that are shooting Dashers pull the bolt back a little bit and then push it forward. They're letting the cartridge align with that chamber and pushing it in, which, is that a huge deal? Probably not, but it costs you time. And to me, it's like, why have that? And from a gunsmith point of view, I don't want my customers calling and telling me their guns don't feed. You can bend these lips in some. You can change that notch in the follower further forward. You can change these magazines and make it better, but a guy can't just go to the store and buy those. They can buy the mag kits where they kind of do it for them, but they're not 100%. This does what these cartridges do. It comes up when it noses up. Now the chamber's here, which is only 150 thousandths forward, and the nose is in that hole already. And when you send it home, it's got nowhere else to go but inside that hole. So unless someone makes drastic changes to magazines and action links, this is always going to have that problem. And, you know, it was designed to be a single shot. It was designed to be in a bench gun, and it's great for that. This is better for what we do in the PRS out of a repeater. And that's really the only difference. These two, this gives you a little bit more speed. You know, they're very similar. Really, the big difference is the added length. It gives you a little bit more speed, and it makes it feed good. So I think for the guys that have used this and like this, they'll like this better once they switch to it. And it was designed where, if you look, the shoulder here to here is the same. It's actually a half thou bigger here. So I can clean up a chamber with this reamer. Sets it forward 150,000. So essentially, if you got one of them tired BR barrels, this cleans up the throat and changes it to a GT in one little swipe. Most gunsmiths are going to charge about $100 for that. Buy a set of dies and some brass, and you're off and running with the GT. So that's it. That's why we did it. Tom Jacobs is a bench rest guy and a PRS guy, mainly a PRS guy and an F-class guy. I think it's going to be good for all disciplines, bench rest, F-class, especially mid-range F-class and PRS. So we're happy about it. Alpha and Hornady are making brass, so you got the Cadillac and you got the budget. I think it's going to be a winner, so I'm looking forward to guys shooting it and see how it does.
Right on. Are dies only available through you guys right now? Are you custom making the dies?
So RCBS sells the dies in their Matchmaster line. You can buy them from anyone that sells RCBS. Hornady sells the dies. I'm not sure if it's in their catalog yet. Probably will be next year. But their line item dies are not customs. And Redding made customs for us, but they were specific on the phone that they don't, like if they make a set of dies for you now as customs, they hold the right to make them themselves. That's part of something you sign. So they can, I'm assuming if they get the calls for them, they will. But right now, myself and Alpha both carry the Redding dies. And then you can buy the other dies through Common Source.
Right on. Now, I was talking to a guy here in Missouri recently that said there's, at least right now, before the brass was available regularly, there was quite a process.
Yeah, so obviously you can't make it from the dasher because it's too short. Yeah. And if you look at the difference in these two, it's substantial to the neck, which is what we ended up making it out of. So we would size this. If you could imagine, this cartridge was on the neck all the way to here. It would end up having about a half-inch long neck, and then we would chop it with a chop saw, then run it in a Gerard, then put it in a mandrel and cut the neck, and then resize it, then shoot it. And it would form the shoulder and everything, so technically you weren't firing for me at that point, but because the body of the case became the neck, you had a little donut about right here that you had to ream out. It was a mess. There wasn't. It's really a true wildcat in the sense that you couldn't just make it from another piece of brass. You had to modify it. Everyone keeps asking, well, what do you make that brass out of? Well, really nothing. I mean, you can make it from 308. You can make it from other stuff. The easiest was to make it by 6547 because it's got the small primer already and everything. So I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore. That was a royal pain, but it proved the concept anyway.
Yeah, no good. No good. Cool. Well, anything else you'd like to throw out to people? What do you got coming up for matches and things like that? So
GA's running the Midwest finale this weekend, as a matter of fact. We set the range up yesterday. I'm trying to have a course of fire that's 100% brand new, meaning no one that shoots here routinely gets an advantage. I think that's very important when you host a finale. So we put in some new props, put in some new berms. All the stages I normally run will be modified, at least in targetry. some stuff I have no choice, but the only one event that will be exactly the same is the PRS skill stage. So, and that's the same anywhere you go. So, I think it'll be fun. I think guys will be happy that the course of fire's changed up. So, guys coming from Wisconsin and Illinois will have just as good a chance as the guy that shoots at my range weekly or whatever. So,
thanks for talking to us about the 6GT, guys. Hopefully you appreciated that little bit of insight on the 6GT. I think you should probably get a hold of GA Precision and get one built for yourself. I know I am switching. I was just saying this on a podcast that I started. I'm switching away from the 6 Dasher to the 6 Creedmoor simply because I don't have time to reload right now. So I'm going to be switching to factory ammo. But
I will plug Clay Blackadder. He bought 10,000 pieces of brass, and he's going to be loading the GT, I believe, with the 105 burger to start. Oh, nice. He's got a load like 3,030 that he said just prints one ragged hole. Nice. So he's going to be offering that for sale. We'll have it on our website, and it'll be on his. So there will be, at least for the guys that don't load at all and want to try it, Clay will have some Rens available. Right on. Well, there goes my excuse, I guess. And there has been, I will only say hinting because it's definitely far from anything official at all, of a couple big companies wanting to load it. So we'll see. It won't be anytime this year, maybe not even next year, but I have a feeling if it has some success, you'll see loaded ammo from some of the big guys. I don't think it seems like a lot of benefit going from the Dasher. And the Dasher was great, but, for most guys, at least in my mind, it was like, oh, I got to run Dasher. And then you see something that's legitimately better in so many ways. Right. And it's not a far stretch to just say, hey, next time my barrel goes out, I'm just going to rebarrel. And I think the thing with Dasher is it is super accurate. I mean, the bench rest guys shoot it for a reason. It's just for what we do, there could have been something a little bit better, and that's all this was just modifying it to the point where it would work like this for our sport. That's all it is. It's not trying to I made some jokes about not liking the Dasher. Well, as a gunsmith, I don't like it because I can't guarantee a guy he's going to have good feeding, and those are the guys that call back and they don't understand, and it's hard to explain it to them. They saw, Brian Allen or John Pinch or someone use a Dasher to win and they didn't have issues. Well, those guys have like a lot of knowledge. They know how to tweak the magazines. At least they have a gunsmith doing it for them, and they're not having this many of the issues. I say as many because I've RO'd and match directed a lot, and if I sit at a stage for hours and watch, I know who's shooting a Dasher and who's not just by the feeding issues. It's very obvious, and the guys that are good can do it fast, and it doesn't really hold them up, but they're still having to do it. So guys, that's the only reason I did this. It fixes all that. It gives you what you want in a, like, now cheap and nice expensive brass. Like, if you want that expensive stuff, it's there. If you want the cheaper, more economical stuff that you can leave on the ground, it's there too. So no excuses. Readily available. You bet. All right, I won't take any more of your time. Thanks, okay. Thank you.